new stream. I'm excited to talk about some updates today or tonight. We're streaming a lot later than we're used to. We usually are streaming a lot earlier. Usually we stream around like 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just checking the sound. We're good to go. The sound is coming in great. The stream looks good. I'm excited that I worked out the technical challenges, the issues that we were having when we first started the first like 3 streams. We kind of had some trouble with video connection issues, but it's all good, which is really great, awesome news, because that means I'm more willing to invite guests onto the show, so we don't have to worry about running into technical issues when we're doing these streams too. So we've been talking to a couple potential guests, and we'll get those lined up here probably next week, maybe the end of this week. We're gonna see. We'll see if we can line something up for Friday or maybe Wednesday. Probably not tomorrow. Tomorrow's maybe too short notice for some of our guests. But yeah, so today we're going to talk about some updates just with Board Game with Education, and then we will have some trivia. So we'll have board game trivia. It's trivia based on board games. We might do this kind of trivia in the future with our streams, and maybe not just board games, some other stuff as well. So I'd love to hear from you what you think of the trivia. If you're watching the replay, feel free to play along too and leave a comment as the video comes up and see if you can guess or get the answer correct before I say what the answer is in the replay too. All right, so we're going to go over some updates first. So I like to just kind of go off of, I have our newsletter over here, and I'm going to share that with you in just a moment, and that is you can sign up for that in the description. I think I added in the description, it should say like get updates on our brick-and-mortar store. When you click on that link, there's an option to choose only updates about the brick-and-mortar store, or you can get updates about everything, and that's our newsletter. We do that once a week, every Tuesday, so that's why I like to go over some updates, go over the kind of the updates from the newsletter from last Monday, or last Tuesday, because tomorrow we'll have a new newsletter and we'll have new resources, new games, new things going on in that newsletter. And this way you can, if you're watching now, you can sign up for that newsletter and be sure you get it tomorrow on Tuesdays. So that's what I like to do every Monday, is just go over some updates. And I use the newsletter as kind of a guide because we have a lot going on, and sometimes it's hard to remember what we have in the pipeline and we're planning to do versus what we've kind of shared with everyone. So the newsletter for me is a good guide, good outline for going over all of that. If you have any questions or suggestions on just like what you would like to see us do or be involved in too, we'd love to hear that. We're still always improving, always changing what we do based on feedback. So always excited about any updates or any feedback you can share with us. All right, so the newsletter. Let's go over to the newsletter. I'm going to try to stay out of the way with my face here. So the newsletter, I kind of sent a message. I always like to start the newsletter off with just kind of a more personalized note and kind of ask as far as like what kind of games you're playing, or maybe what's going on in your life. Summer's wrapping up. I think this newsletter was after Labor Day weekend, so the Tuesday following Labor Day weekend. I was trying to remember if Labor Day weekend was last week. So I was curious to hear what games you were playing this weekend. So feel free to leave a comment below. Let me know what games you're playing. I always love to hear about games that are out there, because there are so many that are coming out, so it's hard to keep up, and I'm always feeling like I feel like I'm always missing great games, and then those games potentially lead us to adding it to our store and sharing it with others. So let us know what you're playing. It's always great to hear. Some of these things in the newsletter are always there as a resource that you can kind of grab when this newsletter goes out. We like to kind of separate it and outline after. The note is just an outline what to expect as you go down the newsletter. So a lot of these things are there week by week, but there's some changes each time. So for example, our community get involved. One thing that if you're watching, we'd love to hear from you if you want to be a guest on this stream. Like I mentioned, we're looking for guests, or we're going to plan to have some guests. We're talking to some. We do these every day. In October, we'll have a more set schedule on when it happens. Right now, we're just kind of doing it flexibly. I would love to do one once a night, but it's just hard in my schedule to figure out how to do it in the evening. So we usually in the mornings and afternoons. So if you're interested in that, or our video cast. So our podcast is season 13. We're starting to do content calendars instead of podcast seasons. So we're in our season 13 content calendar, and that calendar includes our streams, and we'll be releasing some YouTube videos. I'll get to that in just a moment. So I have a weekly schedule for our content that I'll go over. These are other things that I chatted about last week, so I'm just going to kind of go over them really quickly. We're always looking for other educators looking to create resources for games on our website. So if you're interested in designing resources for our website, reach out to us. We're also looking to improve our website. So if you have any feedback from our website, we have this form. You receive $5 store credit, like 500 points to our store, which is $5 store credit for filling out this survey. And then we have our Facebook group. So that Facebook group, we're approaching 4,000 members in that Facebook group, which is crazy. Yeah, that's a lot of members in that group. I'm kind of a little frustrated, and it's maybe my own frustration, but also the idea or the fact that Facebook has changed how groups work. So I've been very poor at engaging in Facebook in our group as much as we have in the past, and I just need to figure out what they've changed, and I just keep putting it down on the priority list. But there's a lot of great members in there asking questions and sharing resources, so definitely check it out if you're interested. It's for game-based educators, so educators, homeschool parents, parents, designers, so about using games for learning. Latest BGE content, so I mentioned we go live. That's streamed from maybe Monday last week. And then this is something we're going to be releasing every week, and this is just a way to, I'm going to move myself out of the way here. Whoopsies. Where should I put me? I'm going to put me all the way up in the corner. So this is what we're gonna release this every week in our newsletter, and we'll post it on social media. This was our first iteration of it. We'll maybe change around some things, and we'll include weekends too, because we do have some weekend events we're doing in the area specifically. I don't think we'll do a lot of content during the weekends, but we have some events in the areas that we do. This should be, oh, it has the wrong overlay. It should be BGE updates there on the bottom of our screen. We're not playing a game, so I apologize for the wrong overlay there. I'm not sure what's going on. But our schedule. So on Monday, we do our daily stream. Right now, we don't have a set time for it, so it's just to be determined. We're releasing some new content. So right now, actually, it's ready to be released on YouTube. I'm going to share a little snippet of it. You see the little Pokemon thing. That has to do with what the video is. Grace and I opened some Pokemon cards. It was pretty entertaining to watch myself and Grace open some cards. I know a lot of Pokemon. I know all the first 150, and I know a few more. Grace knows like 4, so it was kind of fun to watch her open some cards and learn a little bit about Pokemon. But let's watch a quick preview of that video. Welcome to BGE's Tabletop. I'm Dustin.
And I'm Grace.
And we're all about leveraging the positive impacts of tabletop games. Today, we are opening a booster box.
Pokemon.
Ooh, so, Grace, how many Pokemon do you know?
2.
2. So we'll stop there. That's that's a little preview of what to expect for that video. We're excited to share that with you all, and let us know. We do kind of like a battle, a Pokemon box opening battle. So if you're familiar with Pokemon and you play, we'd love to hear who won the battle. Let's go back to the calendar. So Tuesday will be live with the daily stream again, as well as Wednesday. During these streams, I have just a little note what we do. If you've watched them before, you kind of have some ideas. Today we're doing trivia. We play some games. We do a publisher's corner where we share games from a specific publisher. We also do, what else have we done so far? We'll have interviews. Like I mentioned, we'll have some guests on the show. So we're still kind of figuring out other segments to add. I want to do maybe some painting. I need to buy some paint, and I need to decide what board game, like little miniature plastic guy I want to paint. And then Thursdays, we don't do any content. Thursdays are just a very busy day as far as it goes for meetings for myself. I also coach a run club, so I'm usually pretty busy on Thursdays. I do it on Tuesdays as well, but that's the only commitment I have on Tuesdays. Thursdays, I have a lot of other commitments, so it's hard for me to stream on Thursdays as well. So Fridays, we're also streaming. Last Friday, we played a game. I think we might try to do that every Friday. So if you want to come play a game with us, just send me a message and you can join for any game we play. All right, let's keep going. Board game crates. I've talked about this a lot. Essentially, you fill out a survey. I can click on this. And you tell me about your learning environment or your game group, and I curate a selection of games specifically for you. So this is really great if you're struggling with what games maybe to use in your classroom, or if you're new to board games, or you're struggling with trying to decide what board games to go from if you're kind of newer with new board games. So that's the board game crate. New games. So we've actually added some other new games since our last newsletter. So I'm going to go on to shop. You can always go to shop and default or sort it by latest. This way it will always give you our newest games. Oh, it looks like the same. Okay, so I think we're adding a couple right as we speak, actually. I think Grace might be working on some. But so this is the same as our newsletter. So these are just some newer games that we've added. Some of the latest Pokemon set we have there. We added all the Gigamic games that we have now. So we did a publisher's corner about them last week. So you can check out all the Gigamic games we have. You can always search our website too for a publisher. So if we search Gigamic, it should pull up. I think we need to add a couple tags to some of these games because we do have other Gigamic games. All right, let's keep going. We just have a little bit more. So Kickstarter calendar, talked about this last week, and we do a Kickstarter corner. That's what we did, our Kick It with Kickstarter. We did that last week. So this is where we talk about different games on Kickstarter. And then some updates to our brick and mortar. There's a link in the Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, wherever you're watching, to sign up for some updates to our brick and mortar if you're interested. And finally, this is in all of our newsletters. If you want to join our website, if you create an account on our website, you automatically get 500 points, which is essentially $5 store credit. So if you're interested in that. All right. So those are some updates from what's going on with Board Game with Education. We're going to now play some trivia. I'm excited for this. I put together a few questions. It's not a long trivia night, so it's just a few questions, a little trivia taste. And I'd love to hear from you what you think of the trivia. If you like it, we can do a new trivia, another trivia night. I feel like I am not in a good spot with my face, but we're going to see what happens. So feel free to leave your answer in the comments. We're going to do this trivia by first giving you the question, And I'm not going to give you any answers, so you can try to guess the answer without a multiple choice. And then I'll give you a multiple choice, and then you can try to choose the answer with the multiple choice. These are all board game related questions. So let's go to our first question, which is, what was the name of Monopoly before it was named Monopoly? So I'll give you maybe a minute to kind of answer. Keep getting notifications, and I'm trying to turn them off. There we go. Oh, I accidentally clicked. So you have some multiple choice answers now. So what was Monopoly before it was named Monopoly? The landlord's game, capitalist dice, rental rates, or boardwalk? I knew I was going to be in the way. I'm going to try to change where I'm at. Let's see. Where can I put myself? There we go. So you can kind of leave your answer. Grace says, I have no idea. Boardwalk is my guess. Terry, my mom, thanks for watching, Mom. Guess is boardwalk as well. And the answer is the landlord's game. Was the original name of the game. So the earliest known version of Monopoly, known as the Landlord's Game, was designed by an American, Elizabeth Maggie, and first patented in 1904, but existed as early as 1902. Maggie, a follower of Henry George, originally intended the Landlord's Game to illustrate the economic consequences of Ricardo's law of economic rent and the Georgist concept of economic privilege and land value taxation. So I just kind of want to read that out for anyone that's maybe not watching and kind of just listening along. So yeah, this is, if you want to look at this on Wikipedia, you can go into a wormhole of learning about Ricardo's law and Georgist concepts. I kind of did a little bit, but I can't explain that because I have like a very not even surface level. I kind of just learned a little bit about both those concepts, but I would definitely need to go dig more to be able to explain. So feel free to check that out on your own. Oh no. Oh no. I gave away the question. I need to make sure that that's not gonna happen again. All right, I just need to click through these just to make sure that's not gonna happen again. I actually don't have a answer to there. I don't know why that did that. Let's see if it'll still do that. So the next question is about a board game piece, and it's gonna be, what is this guy called? So, oh no. Still doing it. I don't know what's going on. We're just going to do it without the green selection at the end, so that's all right. All right, so what is this little guy called? I realized too the screen kind of covers the question. Unfortunately, I don't think I adjusted it. So what is this little guy called? I'm gonna see if I can move it. There we go. What is this little guy called? What is he called? Or she. I guess it could be a she. So feel free, if you're watching the replay, to guess. Grace answered the question. I think she already knew, but that's all right. Let's see. So the multiple choice is the dude, a pawn, a little guy, or meeple. So it is a meeple. So a meeple and Grace got that right. A meeple is the playing piece or token in a board game, usually having an extremely stylized human form. The word meeple comes from blending the words my and people. A word consisting of blended words is called a portmanteau. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Portmanteau. Meeple was coined in the year 2000 by Alison Hansel to describe the wooden figures in the game Carcassonne. So I never knew where the word came from, so that was something I learned today, is used for the game Carcassonne. Maybe I can pull up a picture of Carcassonne for everyone so we can see. That's all right, Grace. You can answer as quick as you want. So that is a castle, not the actual game, but the castle. So there's the little meeples from Carcassonne. I wonder if Carcassonne was the first game to use meeples. That would be a good trivia question for advanced board game trivia. All right, next up is, what is the origination story of Candyland? So if you can guess how or why Candyland was designed, or why they made the game Candyland. So if you're watching the replay, feel free to answer in the comments, and I'll share the multiple choice here in just a few seconds. We're going to do it right now. Multiple choice. To entertain quarantine kids, to help kids learn colors, to market sweets to kids, or to help kids learn to take turns. What was the game Candyland made for? Or what was the origination story of Candyland? I'm going to share this too. So I'll give you just maybe a couple more seconds if you're watching the replay, or if you are watching live. Grace says, my guess is to market sweets. Terry says, for kids in the hospital. And Terry is correct to an extent, I guess. Well, it is definitely for kids in the hospital, but it's to entertain quarantine kids. And a school teacher created Candyland in 1949 to brighten the day of children confined to a San Diego polio ward. Children would play during short breaks from the iron lungs. They were from the iron lungs where they received treatment. Oh, Terry said she cheated. She Googled it. Well, yeah, that's trivia cheating. All right, the next up, and this is the last question, I believe. What was the profession of the inventor of Pictionary? I guess the profession might be game designer now. I don't really know. I didn't read the history of the profession of the designer, but they were this profession before they designed and created the game Pictionary. Again, if you're watching the replay, feel free to type in the comments and answer. And I'm going to give the multiple choice now. Operator, waiter, teacher, or writer. So give it just a second or two to think about that and answer. Terry says graphic designer, architect. It's neither of those. Those are good guesses, though, before the multiple choice. So now we have the multiple choice. Operator, waiter, teacher, or writer. Grace says teacher, question mark. And the answer is a waiter. So Pictionary is designed by a waiter. Back in the early 80s, a young Seattle waiter would pick words from the dictionary and draw them for others to guess when he wasn't taking orders or schlepping food. Inspired by the recent success of Trivial Pursuit, he decided to make his party pastime into a full-on board game. Pictionary assembling the first 1,000 games in his 1-bedroom apartment. Siri thinks I'm talking to her. This is a really cool story, I think, to kind of share where board games are for indie designers and publishers today even. This was in the 80s, so how many years ago is that? 40 years ago? So really cool to see the story of how Pictionary got started, and now it's like, I don't know, it's in everyone's home. It's in the closet and hiding in everyone's home in their closet. So really cool to see that and see how it got its start. So those are the trivia questions, our trivia night. We might do this again, but you got to let me know. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the trivia and the questions. And if you have any like other ideas or topics or suggestions for topics for trivia, it doesn't necessarily have to be board game related, so it could be something else too. We shared some updates from Board Game with Education, and we will be back tomorrow with another segment or doing something. We're still kind of playing around with our streams and figuring out what kind of segments will stick around and what we'll keep up. So we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you